Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3. I almost forgot what day we were on today. It is marketing day of Prep for Wave Week. I am your host, Rita M. Perez. I even almost forgot my name now. That's what kind of day it's been today on recording day. But it is Prep for Wave Week. We are right chock full in the middle. So we had foundations on Monday. Yesterday we talked about operations. Today is about marketing, which kind of slides into our conversation tomorrow, which will be sales, and then finally expansion on Monday. And I am so excited to have you here, especially in this session. I know email marketing has been a big topic of discussion. You probably heard like different buzzwords around email marketing or using email with the people that are in your list or that are in your sphere as far as travel clients. So how about, like, do we go about that? Is that something that we should be doing for our businesses? And what should we be putting into that newsletter? And what does it look like overall is the topic of discussion today. And we have someone who was recently a guest on the podcast, episode 76. It's been an amazing episode. So if you have not listened to the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur, make sure to listen in on that because I feel it's a good foundation for our discussion today. But without further ado, welcome back, Deanna Harris.
Thank you for having me, Rita. It's great to be back so
Thank
soon.
you. Yes, yes. No, talking all things like words, content, copy. It was a really fun conversation. And so when I was planning out everything, the content for Prep for Wave Week, I knew that we had to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And the first one got a lot of good feedback on my end. So thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you. So for those that don't know who you are just yet, can you give just a brief background, who you are and what you do?
My name is Deanna. I like to say, a travel agent turned travel content and copywriter. And that is exactly what I do for other travel agents and travel agents exclusively is I write their content and their copy. I have a couple evergreen options with done for you blogs, but the bulk of my business is custom writing for travel agents. That's blogs, newsletters, email marketing, website copy. Really, if it involves words, I'm your girl.
Yes. I'll never forget like even our conversation about sparkle ores. I think that was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I know we have briefly talked about how even you heard about first doing email newsletters because like for the purpose of this conversation, this is going to be talking about email newsletters and not an actual paper newsletter, right?
Yes, email marketing in the form of newsletters.
Okay, so why should people have an email newsletter?
So we get these people on our website and they put their names and their emails in that box and then they never hear from us again. Or maybe even worse, they hear from us when we want them to buy something very costly from us. And that's just not the way the magic of email marketing works. You
Mhm.
really have to give the people an opportunity to get to know you, to get to like you, and to get to trust you before you ask them to open up their wallets and spend thousands of dollars. So I have found that newsletters, regular delivery of email newsletters, is a great way to get your audience to warm up to you and to have you first on their mind when they're ready to buy travel.
Awesome. So when you say warm audience, what does that mean?
That means someone who doesn't say, "Who is this again?" when you send an email, or someone who stops because they recognize your name and they know that you're here to provide something valuable to them,
Mm-hmm.
just by seeing your name in their inbox.
Mm-hmm. And we do that, or they find you through a couple of ways. So we're going to be talking about ads on Friday. And then last week's podcast episode is all about lead magnets because those work together.
Yeah.
Put out the ads so people can find out about you, but you have to have an attractive offer via lead magnet,
Mhm.
and then they're on the email list. So what does a newsletter really comprise of when we're talking like is it I'm thinking about like the old format and I know kind of what email newsletters look like now, but for people that haven't or aren't engaged in other email lists, what is there a magic formula for comprising your newsletter?
The email newsletter works best with authenticity. So you should make yours as unique as you or your travel brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But there are components that I find are very successful. Some use a lot of graphics, some do plain text, and either one is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a good formula is to get a format and stick to it so it's recognizable to your audience,
Mm-hmm.
and to pick maybe 4 to 5 sections or topics that you want to discuss in every issue and
Mm-hmm.
stick to that.
Okay, so let's break that even down further. When you say 4 to 5 different topics, are you writing this directly in the newsletter? Are you linking them somewhere else?
Both. So, well, let's talk about some of the sections.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like to see people give a personal greeting,
Okay.
because that's the know and like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some people will put a personal image and just kind of tell about what's happening in their life
Mm-hmm.
that week or bi-weekly, however you're going to do it. Some people don't like to include any personal. I like that, a little anecdote or story about what's been going on in your life. And then after that, you can do anything from highlight a blog article that's on your website. And in
Mm-hmm.
that case, yes, you would link them back to your website. Maybe give a little preview and a nice picture, and have a button that says read more on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do trending travel news, and they
Okay.
link to reputable travel sources for articles and information about what's going on in travel.
Okay.
Could be, changing restrictions as far as COVID-19 is or was concerned. But it can also be, when airlines are merging or when airlines are starting a route from your home airport, really any stories that would be valuable or would feed your audience.
Okay.
If you don't want to do any linking, you can provide a travel tip in every newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah, and that I think that's a never that's just a never ending stream of information, because there's so many ways to give your audience tips. You can teach something. You can teach how to apply for your passport or how to apply for global entry. You could teach how to recreate a trending travel reel. Um, you can teach someone how you pack your suitcase, or just a pack with me moment, or learn how to do this section of your newsletter.
Okay.
uh, and you can also promote something, which is the ultimate goal. Promote a trip, promote your service, put a link to your Calendly so you can promote a consultation,
Right.
something of that nature. And you can also do a motivational quote every newsletter, just to get someone going when they open their emails on Sunday or Monday morning. So
Mm-hmm.
it is very individual. Another thing I've had someone teach is a foreign language. Every issue, learn how to speak French or Spanish or whatever, wherever they're bilingual, and there's a phrase,
That's
a
fun.
word, that they teach about in the issue.
Oh, I like that. That's a lot of fun because I think it puts out your personality as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do a survey with results, or you can do a survey and then invite them to join your Facebook group or share the results in your Facebook group. You
Okay.
can share, if you have trending social media posts, you can share your post, Facebook or Instagram, or if you do TikTok, you can share your TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
It really is so there's so much you can do in your newsletter. You just make it personable, make it unique, and make it valuable,
Uh-huh.
some sort of value, always, and just send it consistently.
Okay. Okay. So before I get to my next question, what does consistently mean?
Consistently means as often as you can do it without fail. A
Okay.
lot of people come to me because I manage newsletters, and they say, I want to do it weekly. And even with me managing your newsletter, that is a tall task, because if you're going to do a personal message,
Mm-hmm.
another point I forgot to mention is you can highlight your customer reviews when customers are posting on Facebook, or they're sending you pictures of themselves at a
Mm,
resort. You can use that to promote your service. Or if you have a Google My Business set up and you have reviews coming in, you can highlight your reviews. So even if you're just having to send me your client photos or your personal message, doing that once a week is a tall task. I only have a
okay.
few clients that are able to maintain that consistently.
Okay.
So if you say to yourself, I want to do this weekly, but you have a little nagging voice in your head saying, can I really do that? Is that really realistic? I would suggest you pull that back to bi-weekly to start with.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a walk in the park, then go ahead and increase that frequency to weekly.
Okay.
I have people that do one the first of every month or the last Friday of every month, and they do it consistently, and that's their bandwidth. So as often as you can do it, but do it consistently is my suggestion.
Okay. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Would you say you've said like a five section formula almost?
Mm-hmm.
What what do you mention to people who might think that that might be too much for the people that are signed up on their email lists?
For those people, I would say they know their audience best. And if they think 3 sections is more appropriate, then let's go with that. I do always advocate for the personal message so they get to know you as the face of your business. And I also encourage you to put some sort of value, whether that's travel tips, a travel article, travel news, or your blog post. And then, wherever you want to go from there, that's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Kind of veering directions just a little bit. What makes email marketing different than like social media marketing or in-person networking?
Well, social media marketing, I mean, social media is great, but you don't own the list.
Mm-hmm.
And the algorithm decides who sees your posts, when, where, and why.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes every day. It's a very unkind system to me. You don't know when it's changing. One day you'll have great engagement, and the next day you have none. And there's no one you can call and ask about it. There's no one you can, you know, plead your case to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're just a victim of the algorithm. Your email list, you own that. And people, I believe there was a study that said 90% of the people with email check their email every single day.
Mm.
And you got to get them to open their email, but they're at least in their inbox checking. I know me, I'm in my inbox multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, more times than I can count usually. I think that's how it is with most people. So it's a really effective way to reach your customers is to send them an
Mm-hmm.
email.
Okay.
And as long as you're growing it, you own it. So you can send them as many emails as you want, as funny or as silly or a newsletter or promotion. You can do whatever you want with your email list because it belongs
Mm-hmm.
to you.
Are
You can
there
be like
any?
me. I'm sorry. You can be like me and get locked out of your Instagram account after you've gotten to 1,300 followers
I
and
remember.
never be able to communicate with those people ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can grow your Instagram or Facebook at the same time, encourage the people to come out of the social media onto your email list. So if that ever happens to you, you can still communicate with those people.
Yep. Yep. I remember that. And
Mhm.
especially and not including on that, but I think it was last September where there was that nationwide or international outage of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp,
Mhm.
and everybody was freaking out. And there were some people that I know that don't even, and I'm a big social media person. I mean, I do social media for other businesses,
Yeah.
but there's always a point or there's a reason for doing something. So you have to also acknowledge what that is. But it was just so funny. Everybody's scrambling. And then that day I got at least 10 emails about like, this is why you shouldn't be on social media.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
it just was so funny how everybody handled the situation.
Yeah, I think we probably have some of the same people emailing
Yeah.
us. I got those too, like, hey, I can still contact you. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Right. What are some of those like standout subject lines that kind of always seem to get like immediate opens or people just want to be like, yes, I need to learn more about this.
I think anything that evokes curiosity is a great way. So, you know, you're never going to believe this. Or for me, my newsletter is, I think I told you before, Confessions of a Travel Content Copywriter. So all my subject lines start with confession, and my email open rate is super high because I think people they want to know what I'm confessing to.
Oh, I really like that
Yeah, so
confession.
I really do like anything that evokes curiosity. You could put the little RE, start off like regarding, as if you're responding to something,
Right.
or your itinerary details are inside,
Right.
which is good if you're promoting a new itinerary. That evokes curiosity. What itinerary is this person talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything that evokes curiosity is my very favorite way to send a subject line.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because that I know that another one or things that I have used have been like announcing or introducing.
Hmm.
People like, oh, something's new.
Yeah,
There's something I didn't know about.
yeah. Hmm. That's a good way to do curiosity too. Yes, I think we're both saying curiosity is the way to go. I mean, there are,
Hmm.
people say
Right.
urgency, last call, almost sold out. I don't like to do that if it's not true though, because I think when we're inauthentic or dishonest, our people
Same.
able to see right through us. And
Same.
if you're saying you're almost sold out and in 4 weeks you're still emailing about the same trip, then you've lost that trust factor of
Right.
no like and trust. So urgency, honest urgency is very
Yes.
effective. And there's also ways to do urgency without saying your trip is sold out. If you're getting ready to lose your group space, you're going to close the trip, maybe closing soon, or
Hmm.
you can only guarantee a price. Price might be increasing or changing. So those are ways to do honest urgency.
Hmm.
Um, and I think people like to see numbers, 7 ways to do this, or do this in 3 days or less,
Hmm.
uh, or ask a question. Are you, and this is also kind of curiosity. Are you ready for this type of thing? Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. I really love the confession one still. So I'm like, how can
Yeah.
I spin it on my own?
But here's the biggest tip I give about subject lines and open rates is um the most effective way to get people to open your email is to build a list of followers that want what you have to sell or want to
Hmm.
hear what you have to say. Because I think the greatest subject lines in the world are ineffective if I know that the last email that I opened from you, or you're selling something that doesn't apply to me. And
Right.
I give the example of the people in the travel industry that have made a great name for themselves, that give valuable information. So I don't know if you know about Shanteria.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a travel mentor. And then you have what, Nikita, Sandra, Rita. People, if you're building your list right, those people will just see your name and know that what you have to offer or teach them is valuable. And
Hmm.
I don't even know if I read their subject lines sometimes. I see their names and I open. What do they have going on right now? What are they trying to tell me? Or
Right.
what service do they have to offer? And I open right away.
Right. Oh, I really like that too.
Yeah, my email list is all travel agents. I built it from ground zero, from zero to what it is right now. And my open rate is about 55% on my new.
Okay, I
So
was going to ask about that because I know like average across like all platforms, I think a 20 to 25% is an average open rate. So people should
that's
not.
yeah,
Okay.
that's acceptable.
Okay.
And yeah.
Because like you said 55 and I'm like that's a great open rate, and then I have other clients who are like 39 to
Mhm.
40%,
Those
which
are
is
great.
really, so that's like above average. So if you're
Mhm.
thinking that everybody's going to open your email newsletters, you are setting yourself up for failure even before you started.
No, they're definitely not gonna open it because some of them are gonna land in promotions, and I know people don't like that, but we are actually promoting. So,
Hmm.
we kind of maybe belong there. But I check my promotions folder as well. So I'm sure there are people that will do that. Some of them will end up in spam, and some people just get so many emails that they're just gonna miss it.
Right.
So no, you're not gonna get 100%. I don't know if I know anyone with a near 100% open rate. I think they
Hmm.
measure success starting around 20% opens,
Hmm.
which
Right.
doesn't sound too great maybe to the person with 50 or 100 people on their email list. So while I promote newsletters, I also promote working really hard to grow your list wherever and whenever you can. So the
Hmm.
more people you have in your open rate, 20% means more people are opening.
Okay. Yep. Correct. Correct. So kind of like going into those different platforms, I know I use Flowdesk for my travel business. I use
Mhm.
MailerLite for my marketing business.
Mhm.
I have used MailChimp for clients' businesses.
Mhm.
I think I've also like dabbled in Aweber. There's so many different
So
things.
funny, yeah.
What guidance do you have on selecting the right email platform? Because that's also important to note too, that you want to use one of these email platforms and not just email from whatever email service provider you have.
Yes, you don't want to send them from your Google account. You want to send them, you want to make a professional email and also be able to track your analytics, how many people are opening, how many
Mm-hmm.
people are clicking, what are they clicking on, what are they showing interest in, and have the ability to resend and a whole bunch of stuff these platforms provide that Google just doesn't do. It's just not their
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I would say I recently used MailerLite, and that
Okay.
gets my vote for ease of use. It's super user friendly. It's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to draft a newsletter. They have templates, and it really is just drag and drop, simple.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my customers are using Infusionsoft or Keep by Infusionsoft, but
Interesting.
understand a lot of my customers also are affiliated with Shanteria, and I know she recommends that.
Okay.
Also understanding that Infusionsoft or Keep by Infusionsoft is a little more advanced.
Right.
Someone with a more established um, set of customers, stream of revenue, and it does way more than email marketing. You can
Mm.
collect payments. You can do payment plans. You can sell your trips, make landing pages and forums. It's really a CRM with email marketing as a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I would recommend it, especially for our newer travel agents, but
Right.
it's very, very popular amongst seasoned travel agents. It's also very expensive,
Yes.
and that is very important to note. Next, I would say is Active Campaign for me. It's
Okay.
kind of once you get above 500 customers or subscribers, it gets on the pricier end. I think it might be about $50 or $60 a month, whereas before you hit 500, it's much more affordable. But
Mm.
it is a very good system. I believe you can create landing pages within, and it's pretty easy to craft a newsletter template.
Okay.
So I like Active Campaign. My customers like Active Campaign. ConvertKit
Yes. I
is another.
tried to get into ConvertKit, but it didn't. We
I was
didn't
gonna
become
say
friends.
it's what I'm currently using for my newsletter.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I have a really good open rate, but I think that is more about my audience and my content than it is about
Mm-hmm.
ConvertKit. It's a little bit to get the hang of, but it's really great if you are gonna opt for the text only campaign, plain text campaign,
Mm-hmm.
something with a lot of graphics and design
Right.
elements. I would say about ConvertKit. Flowdesk, I know people love Flowdesk. I don't.
Okay.
Um, I think there's a lot of restrictions when you're crafting your email, but people love it. And they're
I was gonna say I do like it, but the analytics aren't as powerful as other people's analytics, as other
true.
providers.
Yeah, and I don't like, if you use a layout, then for example, you can't put a personalization tag if you've used one of their, just certain restrictions like that make it a
Right.
little bit difficult to craft the email campaign of multiple sections. But it is very popular, it's very affordable, and I think they actually just rolled out the ability to sell products. So if you have an e-commerce platform,
Yes. Check
or if you
out.
if you sell a travel guide or anything like that, you can collect payments right from Flowdesk. So,
Right.
and I think Mailchimp gets a bad rap. I like Mailchimp, and the clients that I manage their newsletter for, they have really good open rates. So I know people say you get bad open rates with Mailchimp, but that hasn't been my experience. And I think it's also very user friendly and
Mhm.
very affordable, especially for our newer travel agents. They actually
Right.
also have a free plan, up to, I don't remember how many customers it is. There are a lot of restrictions. You can't do any automation or anything like that. But if you're okay with logging in and manually pushing your email content or your newsletter, then they
Mm-hmm.
have a plan. It actually obviously has the branding and everything else there, but I also like MailChimp.
Okay.
I've not had
Cool.
any experience with Aweber. Um, I know there are a few others out there, but those are my most popular.
Okay. Yeah, I liked Aweber because they also had a free plan. I think
Mhm.
I would have to agree with you in the sense that like Mailer Lite, I think is a great overall. It's got a really great free plan, and then it
Mhm.
does have some advanced features too.
Yeah.
So for those people that are ready, they're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and start doing this, but you gave some really amazing tips of what to include. But I'm just thinking in the planning process of trying to think out, because I know a lot of us were like, okay, we got to do that monthly newsletter or that bi-weekly new whatever it is. And then you go to be like, okay, we're typing it out and I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Yeah, so that's actually something I had written down. It becomes sometimes it can become just another task, and we know as travel agents have so many tasks,
Right.
right? But with everything, whether it's your blog, whether it's your newsletter and your expert content, when you're trying to think of what to put in your newsletter, just remember that everything is content, and don't bottleneck yourself into I talked about this and I can't talk about it anymore. So I
Mm-hmm.
broke down here as an example. You write, let's say you do travel tips and you do a packing travel tip. You can sit down and branch out 5, 10 different ideas to get you through travel tips. So, not travel tips, packing. So, for example, you're thinking about writing about packing tips. You can do something on what to put in your carry on, what to always pack in your carry on. You can do something about how to pick luggage or things to stay away from when you're buying a new set of luggage. Or should you use a rolling backpack versus a rolling suitcase for your carry-on versus a backpack? Because they
Mm-hmm.
have their advantages. Or how to pack for a week in only a backpack. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can do international versus domestic and Caribbean luggage allowances because they differ. So if you take an American Airlines flight to JFK, but then you go from JFK to someplace else out of the country, you might have trouble if you want to carry a personal bag and a carry-on. You might have to
Right.
consolidate, right? And a lot of people, I don't think, know that. So you can do something on TSA allowances, like did you know you can bring this through the security line, like your breast milk, things that people don't often know that you can get through TSA. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about starting with, and I always say this one general idea or concept or long form content if you have a blog, and then breaking it up into smaller sections. So
Right.
with every piece of travel, I mean, if you think about cruises, they're probably about, I'd say, infinite amount of things you can write about when it comes to cruises, and
Right.
you put that into your newsletter for the people who are interested in cruises if that's what you sell.
Right.
And when you travel, obviously that becomes content as well.
Yes.
So I would say sit down, plan it out, and you can even plan everything. You can plan your social media captions and your newsletter content and your blog content because you don't always get the same eyes on every piece of content. So the
Right.
people that write, people, I have a blog posted, but I don't know how many people are actually stopping to read my blog. So that information, I break it up into maybe my confession. If I'm talking about anything going on in my personal business. And then it also comes into social media captions. And I'll give you one more example. One of my confessions was going to be, or is going to be, how sometimes I feel like a failure in my business because I have a bad habit of comparing myself to other people. And,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll break down ways to assess your progress in your business so you can actually see your successes and be a little easier on yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that is also great content for social media, maybe even a carousel post, right? If you're
Right.
thinking about the ways that you assess your success, you can have a graphic for every metric, So
Right.
that breaks it up a little bit longer. And if you want to get into more detail, you can also write a blog about that. So really it's a matter of sitting down and planning it out and not waiting until the last minute to do it.
Right.
That'll
Right.
be the thing.
How early would you plan things out? Do you have like a suggestion on that?
I'm a big fan of batching your content,
Mm.
or I do time batching. So, I allocate a certain amount of time for every task that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm spending a 2 hour time block on my newsletters, my personal newsletters, then I'm gonna get as many done as possible in that one
Mm-hmm.
setting. So maybe in 2 hours, if I'm doing a weekly newsletter, I can get 2 months worth of newsletters ready to go. And then I don't have to worry about it until that time block comes up again on my
Mm-hmm.
calendar. So as much as you can possibly do, because the thing is, things come up. Actually, one of my confessions
All the
was
time.
I traveled recently and I got off of my time blocking schedule and I was like, oh, I could just do it on vacation. And my Wi-Fi was terrible and I missed a week. And I had to put that in my confession, like I know I missed a week. And this is why. And this was my lesson, not to wait, get it done as
I've
early
done that.
because we have kids, we have families, we have full-time jobs, some of
Yep.
us. And when you have that time to put it together, you should just do it.
Yep.
Set it
Yep.
and forget it because you can schedule them. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. And again, like providing so much chock full tips and energy today. How can people find you again and reach out to you if they'd like to work with you?
Sure. For newsletter management, because that is one of my services that I provide from other travel agents or anything else pertaining to travel content or copy, my website is exclusively yours with an S.net.
Yay, awesome. And then Instagram.
It is with the underscore because
Mhm.
I had to create a new page, underscore exclusively yours.net. And there I also have a quickly growing Facebook group, content and copywriting for travel agents on Facebook. And I like to say that once a week I give what I like to call content boosters, which are just
Mhm.
pieces of content that I release on Monday mornings to kind of help travel agents get started with their content planning. So it's anything from a few social media captions, a mini blog, email content, just to kind of give them some inspiration to help them get going.
Love it. Love it. I did see because I recently joined the group and I was seeing some of those content boosters and I'm like, alrighty there.
Yeah,
Well,
they seem to be pretty popular. Everyone seems to like that I added that to the group. So it's been
mhm.
fun.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you again so much for being here. Thank you, travel advisors, for tuning into this session. There are two more other sessions if you have not tuned in on that today. And then also remember, if you've purchased the study hall pass upgrade, I will see you from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern in a private Zoom session, and we can do some co-working together. All right, have a great day. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you either later on or tomorrow. Bye.